We blacked out our studio and pre-lit the space the day before filming began. That way we could maximise the actual filming with the talent and not waste any time rigging. The blackout was a large, heavy drape, cable tied to a scaffolding rig, and then we brought in 20 vintage TVs to act as an interesting backdrop. All the footage played out on the screens was footage we shot around the city weeks prior. We created a few loopable files and then hit play on a laptop. It's a really simple setup that helps add depth, interest and detail to the background. Medulla performed alongside a backing track that was pre-recorded in a studio. It meant we didn't need a sound recorders on the day and treated it more like a music video rather than a live performance. That way we'd always be in sync and it made the edit process much simpler.